Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this interview. Right now, I have Daniele Monroe Moreno. Did I say it right?
You did. You did.
Right. Awesome. Daniele Monroe Moreno. She is the chair for the Nevada State Democratic Party. Daniele, you also have a few other titles.
I do have a few other titles.
Yeah. What are some of those other titles? We got to know.
So I also serve in the Nevada State Legislature, and I'm running for re-election for my 5th term, but currently I'm the Speaker Pro Tem, and I chair the Ways and Means Committee. And if you don't know what that means, that's like the checkbook of the state, and the first Black woman to be the chair of the Ways and Means Committee and the chair of the state party.
Wow. So we've got wisdom and power sitting right here. I love that. If you happen to be watching the Democratic National Convention, you might have saw Daniele Monroe Moreno making the announcement on behalf of the state of Nevada. So that was pretty exciting.
That was really exciting.
Were you nervous? I just have to know.
Wasn't nervous.
No.
It was just that whole week, the atmosphere, the feeling, and knowing that we were there and we were a part of history.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's never happened before. And the energy in the room and the love in the room with all the states coming together for a common goal.
That's right.
To move our country forward.
Yeah.
It was just surreal.
I tell you, watching it, you could feel the energy.
Oh my goodness.
Like I'm just watching it on my TV and I'm like screaming and super excited. So I can't imagine how much energy was there when in that room.
Yeah, it was. My mom reached out and she said, you know, you realize when Barack ran for office, my grandmother was ill. But she said, I'm not going anywhere until I vote for this Black man who's going to be the first Black man president.
Yeah.
But that was also the time where my oldest daughter, she was in college and she's like, I can't afford to buy the Barack shirts. So they were making shirts in their dorm room. And it was her very first vote.
Yes.
To vote for Barack.
Wow.
Now she has a daughter and her daughter has met Kamala Harris a few times and had conversations with her. And she's like, Grandma, our friend is going to be the first Black woman president of the United States. So that kind of full circle moment, my grandmother got to vote for Barack, got to see him win that election. And within weeks passed, but she lived to see that. My mom is pushing 90. She said, I will get to see the first Black man and the first Black woman be president of this country. And that lets my grandchildren and great grandchildren know there's nothing they cannot achieve.
That is so well said. You know, it's interesting. I'm thinking too, my children, my oldest two, this will be their first election. And I've been telling them how important it is, how important it is to be educated about this election. For those who are watching, tell us, what is the mission of the Democrats, the Nevada State Democrats, the NVDems?
Yeah. So, you know, when I got elected to this position last March, people said, so you're elected to build the Democratic Party. And you might think I'm crazy. I tell people no. I believe in building community. And when people know that you care and that you're there for them, it will naturally build our party. I was raised in the church and my mom said, if you have to tell people you're a Christian, then are you really a Christian? They should know by the life that you're leading.
That's right.
As a chair of the party, I brought to this role what I do in my own community. We're out in the community constantly, hosting events, being at people's houses, answering the call when a constituent says, hey, I can't pay my mortgage or my kids are hungry, and being there for them. I brought that to this role as a state party chair to be there for people. And I don't care if you didn't vote for us. It doesn't matter. When you're elected, you're a public servant and you're there for the people. And if you're not there, then you shouldn't be elected that's not your mission.
Right.
So I made a few promises, which I never do when running for office because you never know what's going to happen.
So true. Yeah.
But I made a few promises when I ran for this position that I would be intentional about, one, making sure our state party was reflective of our demographics of the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
I'm the first woman to be in this position. And if I don't do it, then who will?
Absolutely.
So when you look at our staff, we look like Nevada.
Wow.
And I also said that the majority of my staff would be Nevadans. Because oftentimes campaigns bring in folks from out of state that don't know us.
That's interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to hire people from our communities that know our communities, and the communities know them. And we've been able to do that.
Okay.
But I also wanted to hear from the voters. My job isn't just to talk to folks, but to listen to them. And that means in this state party role, everyone. So I recently wrapped up a statewide road trip where we went to all 17 counties and called it the Kitchen Table Tour.
Wow.
Listening to voters throughout the state and every county in our state. And we had events that our county chairs hosted.
Yeah.
But we had them in public spaces.
Right.
Where we had Democrats, Republicans, nonpartisans in the room.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, which is crazy, but it happened. We only had one heckler.
Wow.
In the whole entire state.
Wow.
One gentleman who had something negative to say. And we said, say what you need to say.
Sure.
Do you feel better? Okay,
right.
Now leave.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
Because obviously this isn't the place for you to be. But others stayed. And when you ask them why, and they're like, well, I just kind of wanted to hear what you had to say. And they thought we were driving the state to bash the other side of the aisle. I said, that's not my job. Right. You know, my job is to tell you what your Democratic leadership has done at the federal level, at the presidential level, but in your state legislative level, all the way down to your city council and your county commissioners. Yeah. The work we've done. That's why I'm here. And there was a gentleman in one town in a very red part of our state who had on what appeared to be work clothes. Yeah. Because my father, after serving in the military, worked in construction. I know how he looked when he came home from work. And I said, hey, did you just get off work? And he said, yeah. And I said, why are you here? He said, well, I stopped by here to grab a drink on the way home just to decompress. And then I saw that you guys were going to be here. And I said, oh, when you say you guys, that means you're not a Democrat. Right. And he said, no, not a Democrat. And I said, okay, so what did you think? He said, I thought you hated us. Wow. And I said, why would you think that? I said, I don't even know you. So no, I don't hate you, nor do I hate the other side of the aisle. Right. It takes all of us working together.
It's bipartisan.
Exactly. Right. And I said, but I was admiring your attire. It looks like you just got off work. And where are you working at? And he told me about that job site he's working on. I'm like, oh, okay. Do you have children? He said, I do. Yeah. That's why I come here and decompress before I go home. Yeah, I understand. And I said, so living in the house, renting? He said, no, we have a house. I said, so you have a job that's relatively new. You know why you have that job? He said, no, not really. I said, that's part of the infrastructure bill. It was a bipartisan bill that came from the Biden-Harris administration.
The Democratic Party.
And then that money came into the state, and you had a Democratic-led legislature that was able to implement that policy within our state to put the job on the ground so that you could have a job. Did you take your kids back to school shopping? He said, yeah, we did. I said, and you had the money to do that and to pay your mortgage. That's what I'm here to talk about. Yes. The work that we're doing together. Yeah. But we're doing it under Democratic leadership. Right. So whether you voted for us or not, we care about you and your family.
That's right.
Because you're a Nevadan.
That's right. Wow. I love the camaraderie. I love listen, we are the Democratic Party, but we all have to work together.
We all have to work together.
Get things done.
And it takes all of us doing that, having conversations across every aisle. And there's more than one aisle. It's having those conversations about across every aisle and understanding that we're not always going to agree. Yes. And it's okay to disagree without being disagreeable.
Absolutely.
But a policy is only as good for our state as it is for the weakest area in our state. If there's one area in our state that says this is going to have a negative effect on us, then we all need to go back to the table and see if we can fix that.
Yeah. Man, so good. I want to talk about this historic moment that we are in. We are in such a historic moment. The Democrats have nominated the first African-American woman as their presidential nominee. So this year is super special. I mean, of course, it's a presidential election, but it's super special. And Kamala Harris stands to be the next president of the United States. But there are still some people still on the fence.
There are.
Can you talk to those people who are still on the fence? What do you want them to know about the presidential election?
You know, when I meet people who say, I just don't know if she's the right person. I said, tell me what it is that you're looking for in a president. First thing to remember, all of our presidents, I don't care who they are, they're human. We're not electing God.
Yeah.
They will not be perfect.
Of course.
But what is it that you're looking for in that next president? What is it that your family needs? And then look at the two candidates that we have and compare them side by side. Do a compare and a contrast.
Yeah.
And not just listen to what they say they're going to do, but look at what they have done.
Yeah.
And when you do that and you're checking off the boxes, which one has more of those boxes checked that adhere to the needs of your family? If you're a person who's working in a union, who's that candidate that has been behind strengthening unions? Because when you talk about the 5-day work week, the 40-hour work week, right?
Yes.
Who did that? Those were union members who fought for those things, for child labor laws that we all benefit from.
Absolutely.
And we have one presidential candidate that has stood behind those unions. When you talk about criminal justice and law enforcement, my career was in law enforcement. We have a Black woman who was a career prosecutor, who did her job, who's kind of been knocked out by some people for doing her job. But if it was a man or a white man in that role, would he be treated the same way?
Yeah, vilified, or would he be praised?
Yes.
Yeah.
But she came at that job understanding that you look at the person, not necessarily at the crime.
Yeah.
This is my philosophy. Sometimes in law enforcement, oftentimes in law enforcement, we meet people on the worst day of their lives that may have made a choice out of desperation and need, not because they were a criminal.
Right.
The mom that stole a set of diapers, is she a criminal?
Right.
Her baby needed diapers and maybe she ran out of the resources and didn't know what else was out there. I feel we failed her by not making sure she knew what those resources were.
And that's what you were talking about, the lowest part of what's going on the state level. Okay, how do we go back and address that? The fact that mom needed diapers.
Mom needed help, right? Kamala did that in her role as a prosecutor.
Yeah.
I met her when she was a senator and we were at a luncheon. We were talking and she said, so what are you working on?
Wow.
And at that time I was working on a maternal mortality bill because mamas and babies are dying at higher rates in America than in other
countries.
Countries.
Yes.
And oftentimes they're women of color and especially Black women.
Yes.
And she said, Danielle, I've been working on that policy in the Senate. I have a lot of research. I could help you. And I thought, okay, here's a senator from another state.
Yeah.
And we're just at this luncheon, just happen to be sat next to each other. Okay, she says she's going to help. All right. We'll see.
Okay.
But within weeks, her staff reached out.
Wow.
And said, hey, you had lunch with my boss, Kamala Harris. And the senator said, you might need some help on a policy. Where are you at? So for the next few weeks, they checked in. We worked. They made sure I was connected to folks who could come and testify on the bill.
Yes.
But more importantly, she called and said, just wanted to check on you. Where are you at? You were a lot further along than I thought you were. When the policy passed here in Nevada, my Congressman Horsford, reached out to her and said, guess what just happened in Nevada? And she called and said, congratulations. I knew we could do this.
Wow.
And I've heard that story over and over again in different states as I travel as state party chairs, where she has reached out to people and worked with them to mentor people, that next generation of leaders.
Yes.
She's a person who keeps her word.
Yeah.
But what she's also done, I've been in rooms where she's like, we can't do that. So because it's the negative effect that it's going to have. We just can't do that.
Yeah.
So she's not afraid to stand up for what she believes is right.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And she understands that it does take all of us. And because she comes from a family of immigrants, she also understands that the foundation that this country was built on is strong because of our diversity.
Yeah.
And she appreciates that, unlike her opponent.
Correct. Right.
So when I ask families, when people say, I just don't know if she's the one.
You're saying, first of all, look at what she's done.
look at what she's done.
Yeah.
And look at what her plan is for the future. Now, she can't do that alone, right? The president is just one person.
Right.
It's going to take all of us voting for the right people to give her the people that she needs to make sure those policies can be enacted.
And where can people just even view the policies that she's laid out?
Oh, they can go to her website to view those policies, or they can go to NVDems.com to view those policies.
Policies are there.
Yeah, they are there. She doesn't have a concept. Like some people have a concept.
Yes.
She actually has a plan.
Right. So you can go and view that plan. Even if you're still on the fence, you can go and view the plan. What we want you to do, especially here at Black Henderson, we want you to make an educated and informed decision. So we want to provide those resources so that you can view it yourself, make the decision yourself. But that's so great. I want to talk a little bit more about the local level.
Oh, yes.
This is a presidential year, election year, but there's a lot at stake on the local level as well. For instance, here in Henderson, we have Monica Larson that's running for city council. For the city of Henderson. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the seats that are up for election here on the local level. We have people from all over the city that are part of Black Henderson. So I think it bears reminding that we need to vote locally as well.
Oh my goodness, yes. I need people to start at the top of their ballot and work all the way down, or better yet, start at the bottom and work up all the way up.
Yeah, tell us about some of those seats that are.
So you have Tracy Braxton, who's running for the State Board of Education here in Henderson.
In Henderson, yes.
She is with UNR, Cooperative Extension Education. She's been with them for years. Yeah. She is an amazing, amazing woman who is uniquely qualified for this role that she's running for.
Yeah.
She will be with us.
Okay.
At the family reunion.
At the family reunion.
If you're there, you're good to meet her.
Yes. Awesome.
Like I said, when you're voting for the president, don't forget your congressional members.
Absolutely.
But those congressional members need state legislatures that they can work with.
Right.
And right now, Nevada is the only state that has a women's majority legislature. We have had a women's majority since 2018.
Wow.
And we're hoping to maintain that.
Okay.
Right. This election cycle.
Okay.
So making sure we, vote for those state legislators. And I will have their information with me on the table.
Okay.
At the reunion.
All right.
So you know who the Democrat is on the ballot.
Yes. Okay.
But it's not just that, it's our school board.
Right.
Just this week, we had a school board member resign because she doesn't live in our state, or that's the accusation, right?
And she has now resigned. So.
Yes. So we look at what's going on in our school district, and now they're going to be hiring a new superintendent.
Yes.
You want the right people there, making sure they make the right choices that put our children and our staff first.
Absolutely.
The educators first.
That's
so
right.
those school board elections are vitally important. Like I talked about criminal justice, when it comes to those judges, you want judges on the bench that have shared life experiences and stories that look at the individual as an individual, not a criminal.
Right.
And doesn't look at everyone as just through the lens of a crime.
Yeah.
But truly having a conversation with the accused and their lawyers to make sure that the right decision is made and they're not impacting someone for the rest of their lives for something that they didn't do, or maybe they did do it.
Yeah.
But why did they do it?
Right.
And don't get me wrong, there's some people that need to stay in jail.
Oh, absolutely. We're not saying everybody needs to
not everybody needs to get out. Don't get me wrong.
We're not saying that at all, but yeah, you're right. Making the right decision, using wisdom, making the right decision so that there's reform.
Yes.
So that there is a plan of action to get them on the right track.
Get them on the right track. And those city council races, those are the races that you interact with every day.
Right.
Those laws within your cities, the roads we drive on, the water we drink. Those touch you day in and day out, unlike the president.
Right.
So you got to come all the way down that ballot and make sure.
And so at the Black Henderson Family Reunion, there will be a list of all the Democrats who are up for election. And you guys have that on your website.
We do.
And they can see what policies that they have and all the things.
And I will have Vice President Harris's literature with me, along with Congressman Horsford's and Senator Jackie Rosen, because I got to get her back too.
Yeah, we got to vote. Yeah,
we win races in this state by field margins,
small margins.
We are a purple state, so we're knocking doors.
Yeah.
I left a canvas kickoff before coming here. So we're knocking doors every day, morning, noon, and night, engaging and talking to voters about our candidates that are on the ballot and why we feel they're the best representation for Nevada at this time. And why Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are the leaders that we need at this time for this country.
Yeah. That's so interesting that you mentioned that you guys are on the trail, that you're in the neighborhoods, that you're door knocking to get people involved. I pulled up a small little piece of research here about consistent votership, about particularly the African-American votership. And this is from the Pew Research Center. I want to mention that. And it says in 2018, 2020, and 2022, only 37% of African Americans voted. It says that 30% of African Americans did not vote in any of those three elections. My question to you is, do you believe it's difficult to get people to vote?
In presidential years, there's so much more attention, so much more activity on TV that people hear it. They hear it on the radio. So you get a larger percentage of voters in general during presidential elections. In those non-presidential elections, it always drops off.
So and why is that?
I think because we haven't done the work that we needed to do in between. So as state party chair, my goal is to not take that office down to no one working there and then come back out next election
4 years
cycle.
later. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Installing a year-round program, engaging community year-round. When I said that I believe in building community, that's truly what I'm there to do. Is to build a community and have the Democratic Party involved in their communities year-round. And by doing that, I think it will help during those election years when people need to go and vote.
Where it kind of drops off a little bit.
When it drops off. But it's also voter education. You know, we've made changes here in the state with the mail-in ballots. So making sure people know how to vote. Today is National
Voter Registration Day. That's right. If you're watching this, today is actually Voter Registration Day. So make sure you get out and vote. Fun fact, we will actually have a voter registration booth at the Black Henderson Family Reunion. So if you aren't registered to vote now, you can meet us at the Black Henderson Family Reunion and vote and register.
And get registered. And if you're 17, but you'll be 18 by election day, you can register to vote now.
You sure can. Yeah, we want everybody to be that can and that is old enough to be able to vote. So definitely. You mentioned some really good points, but how do we get involved? How do we get more people involved? If there are some people out there watching that say, hey, maybe I can make a phone call or knock on a few doors. How can they get involved?
You can go to NVDems.com to volunteer. You can reach out to your assembly member for your district. And that, you know, it might just be fun to go online and find out who your assembly member is if you haven't been involved. Or your senator, or reach out to Congressman Horsford's office or Senator Rosen's office and see if you can volunteer with them. And if you don't like knocking on doors, but you like driving, you can drive a volunteer that may not have a car. And we have a whole high school program. We have high schoolers that are going out every afternoon, but they need drivers. You can drive them. Or if you cook and you're a great cook, you can always cook for the volunteers and leave it at one of our campaign offices. So the volunteers will have food to eat. But if you like talking to people on the phone, you can talk or you can do postcards. But there's a way for everyone to be involved if they choose to be. And I'm real creative. I can find a creative way for you to get involved.
So if we haven't thought about it now, we'll think about it. Just come on and get involved.
Get involved.
And stay involved.
You know, it's educating the voters about every vote does matter. And people are like, my vote doesn't matter. But it was just, I believe 10 years ago in the city of North Las Vegas, a city councilman lost his seat by one vote. One vote. And he thought, okay, that can't be possible. They did a recount. One vote. Every vote matters. And you can't complain about who your leaders are if you're not going to participate in choosing who those leaders are. So do the research, get to know them. Nevada's a small state.
Mm.
Las Vegas is a small city.
Mm.
And we all know somebody who knows somebody
That's
who
so
knows
true.
somebody, right?
That is very true.
So you can actually get to know your elected leaders up close and personal in our state.
Yeah. I definitely have. We can see, you know, our leaders that come not just to the big events, but they come to small, you know, just little, you know, get-togethers at restaurants and things like that. And that's really important.
Or if you like to host a house party and invite that elected leader to come meet you and your friends to get to know them better, you could do that as well.
Wow. See? So many ways to get involved. I've got one more question for you. And this is just the final question. What would you like for people to know about this election? Any final thoughts that you would like people to know?
I am a mom and a grandma, and our family is a very diverse family. When the former president was in the White House, I was attending a conference in DC, and I took my daughter and my grandchildren with me, and they got to have fun while I worked. They had a tour planned at the White House. My granddaughter, who just started middle school now, she asked her mom, "Why are we going to go there?" And they're standing out in line to go in the White House. Yeah. And she said, "What do you mean? It's the White House. It's where the president lives." And she said, "But he doesn't like us." And she said, "What do you mean? I want to hear more." And she said, "Well, Mom, you told us that we shouldn't go in houses where people don't like us." And the man that's president, he's not Mr. Obama. This man, and she didn't call him by name. She just said this man, he doesn't like Grandpa. Grandpa's Jewish. He doesn't like Auntie Chocolate and Auntie Janez because they're married to each other. And he says bad things about Black people too. And he said some things about my Thea, who's Filipino. So if he doesn't like any of us, why are we going to go to his house? And that's out of the mouth of a child who had watched some things on TV or maybe heard some things on the radio, that knew that the person who was in the White House at that time didn't care about her or her family, is now running to be in the White House again, who has said even more things that are detrimental. Right now in Springfield, Ohio, we have children who can't go to school because of bomb threats. Because of a lie. Right. Things that have been made up. A lie that has been said over and over again. About the Haitian people. About the Haitian community. By the presidential candidate and his VP. Baseless, unfounded lies. So people are living in fear. This is not what America is supposed to be about. We are not a perfect country. Right. And there's a number of things in our history that I am not proud of. But it's who we are. That's how we got to where we are at, right? I don't want to go backwards. We're moving America forward. And this election cycle, this election will determine not just the future after November, but for generations to come. I don't ever want another little girl or little boy to say, the president of the United States doesn't like me or my family. They should know that that person sitting in the White House is like the mother or father of this country. Right. That sets the tone of who we are to the world. To the world. Yeah. And we have two candidates. One who respects our history. One who respects our diversity. One who appreciates who we are and loves us for who we are and wants to work together. And one that does not. Okay. Ready to that. You're going to do this and that. Here we go. All right. So you have to pick one or the other. Dang. Yeah. One or the other. That's the rule. You ready? Okay. Coffee or tea? Coffee. Good. Pizza or burgers? Ooh. That's hard. That is hard. You have to pick one or the other. burger.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can get more creative with the burger.
Okay.
Okay.
Burger. Okay. Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs.
Okay. Summer or winter?
Winter. I love to layer clothes.
Oh, yes. Okay. So fall is coming up. We're going to see some, some fall fashion. All right. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Beach vacation or mountain retreat?
Ooh, mountain retreat with the stream.
Ooh.
Yes.
Book or movie?
Book.
Morning person or night owl?
I'm both. But I get up early. So I'm going to say I'm morning person.
Morning person. Okay.
Okay. Morning person.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Sweet or savory?
Well, I'm a chubby girl, so sweet.
Okay. Fiction or nonfiction?
I'm going to say nonfiction. I live a lot of fiction.
Yeah. So nonfiction.
Nonfiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sneakers or sandals?
Ooh, sneakers.
Facebook or Instagram? Gotta pick one. Pick your poison?
Instagram.
Okay. Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Okay. Ebook or physical book?
Physical book.
Home cooked meal or restaurant?
Ooh, home cooked meal.
City life or countryside?
Countryside.
Sunrises or sunsets?
Oh, they're both beautiful. There's nothing like a good sunset in the mountains.
Oh, on the mountain retreat. Yes. Okay. Swimming or sunbathing?
Sunbathing.
Glasses or contacts?
Glasses.
Awesome. Let's see. Coffee shop or library?
Coffee shop. Because I can talk.
Same here. Hardback or paperback books?
Paperback. They travel better.
Very true. Less weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Netflix or Hulu?
Ooh. Hulu.
Okay. Brunch or cocktail hour?
Depends on how stressful the day's been. But I'm going to say brunch.
Lastly, texting or calling?
Oh. Yeah. Texting.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for playing this or that.
That was hard.
Was it pretty hard?
It was. I think so. Burgers.
Yeah.
Come on.
But
Okay.
you say you can make a lot of options with the burger, so I feel that.
I could do a burger pizza.
You could.
See?
Yeah. Now we're getting creative. All right. Well, guys, the Nevada State Democrats will be at the Black Henderson Family Reunion. Make sure you stop by their booth so that you can get all the information that you need. We will have voter registration available. So make sure you come out September 21st, Cornerstone Park, 4 to 8 p.m. Thank you so much.
And say happy birthday to me. It'll be my birthday.
It'll be her. She's coming on her birthday. Listen, we have to. We're going to have to sing happy birthday. Yeah, that's just how we do.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon. Bye.